Hey guys, it's Kelly Wren, and I am here with Eddie Faria from Game Arts Academy, and we're going to be talking to him about his really cool company. Take a look.
My name is Eddie Faria. I've been working in the games industry for the last 10 to 12 years, primarily as an environment artist. And now in the last 5 years, I've also been teaching in the college system here in Toronto. And just recently, the last year or so, I started my own digital online art school called Game Arts Academy. My favorite games were probably like Mario. I had like a Nintendo and an Atari growing up. Super Mario I loved, and particularly Sonic the Hedgehog. I really loved Sonic the Hedgehog. I was like obsessed with it growing up. And then getting into like Nintendo 64, like GoldenEye and Zelda and all those games like that. I like primarily action adventure games, like games that you go on like big quests and things like that. Like God of War is another favorite series of mine as well. So my experience in the games industry, I started off at a Toronto game studio called Pseudo Interactive back in 2008. And we worked on some really fun projects. Unfortunately, the studio shut down, and then I ended up working on a couple Wii projects. And I slowly climbed my way up the ladder in the games industry from prop artist to environment artist, then to an art lead. And then I got to work on a couple mobile games. And then I ended up being an art director not too long ago, which was a dream of mine coming out of college. And then I started teaching, my teaching career. Well, it kind of just happened to me by chance. Like I never really planned on being an educator. I was working at a studio called Blot Interactive, and one of my coworkers approached me saying that there was like an opportunity to teach at a college. And I always thought that you needed like university experience and things like that, like a higher education. And he just said like, no, you just need like some experience in the games industry and you're good to go. So I went in for an interview the next day, and I literally got the job, and I started the following Monday. And that's how I got into teaching. And so I just chanced upon teaching, but I ended up really loving it. So the company's called Game Arts Academy. So when I was teaching in the college system, I started noticing a few things that kind of disturbed me. One of them was that the college system had been letting in people that probably shouldn't have been in the course. They weren't doing strict portfolio reviews at the time. There was a financial crash. I think it was 2000. There was a financial bubble that happened, and as a result of this financial bubble, college admissions were way down, so they weren't doing strict portfolio reviews to get into these programs anymore. They were just letting anybody in who was interested and had the money. And as a result, a lot of people were in these courses that probably shouldn't have been in these courses. They just didn't have the base skills to be a digital artist, a digital games artist. And I also noticed that there was people that graduated and they were really talented, but they weren't finding jobs in the industry. And what happened was, and what usually happens is these people, they graduate college and then they think, okay, so now I got to get a job in the industry, like as every graduate does. Now I got to go hit the pavement and start applying to studios everywhere. And so they do that, and then they don't get any replies. And this discourages them, and then they give up on their, there's 3 years of schooling, everything's just down the drain. They end up working at like a coffee shop, and they never end up pursuing the job in games industry ever again. So we discovered that there's these people that had the talent, but they just weren't ready to get a job in the industry, and their portfolios just weren't quite pro level. So we decided to create Game Arts Academy to catch these people and to like give them another chance, to re-encourage them to try again, to try with another portfolio piece, and then to reapply to game studios. And we've been finding that when they try again, when they do one more portfolio piece and upgrade their portfolios, that they actually are getting jobs and are making it in the industry. So we built a business around that. As a component of our school, we've also built into it what we call the inner game. So it's not just about acquiring the technical skills to be a 3D artist in this highly demanding field. It's very difficult to get into this field nowadays. Like we liken it to becoming a pro basketball player. It's that difficult to get in as an artist these days, way harder than it was before. But you also need inner game skills like things like resiliency, mental resiliency, courage, anti-fragility. You just need like a sort of an inner hardness that they don't really teach in school at all. And so we made this a component of our school. And how this relates to mental health is like, think about if somebody goes and applies to a game job and then they get no replies, and then all of a sudden they're completely demoralized, they're prone to depression, unhealthy lifestyle, all these kinds of things. So we teach this as a part of our school to build these skills. And we also teach a healthy work-life balance, which I think is what's missing from the games industry. A lot of people in the games industry simply, in my experience, you're just crunching. You come to the end of a project and then you're working, you can work upwards of like 60 to 80 hours a week, and that really affects mental health. So what we teach in our school is to have a healthy work-life balance, to first take care of yourself with physical fitness and health and eating right. And also we've implemented a work strategy called Pomodoros, the Pomodoro technique, where you work for 20 minutes, then you take a 5-minute break to get away from the computer, and then you come back for another 20 minutes. We found that not only does this increase productivity in our students, but it also improves mental health of our students as well. So we're trying to create a whole army of graduates that are going out into the games industry and are now have this healthy mindset about work life that they're bringing into these studios and hopefully encouraging the whole studio from the inside. So think of them like Trojan horses. Another thing that we're really excited about with our company is that we're trying to change the whole education model. We're trying to change the whole secondary school, college model. We feel it's really outdated. And I noticed when I was teaching that there was a lot of students who were really excited at first because they love video games and they want to create video games for a living. But then they discover how much work it is to actually make a video game and to actually produce a game prop or something that goes into a game. And so by the end of first year, we get a lot of dropouts. So what we're trying to do is a buy before you try model. So we're offering to get your entire game art education for a very, very low price, like a fraction of what a college typically charges. And we can do this because you actually don't need a diploma to get a job at a video game studio. You just have to prove that you're capable and you have the skills. So we give you all the skills for a fraction of the cost, and not only does it unburden students from life-crippling debt if they're not cut out to make it in the industry, but if they just don't like it, they're out a couple $100 and that's it. So we're trying to shift the whole education model and eliminate student loan debt. So you can find the company at gamearts.academy, and you can just go through and see what we're all about on our website.
Video with Eddie. Make sure you go check him out, and also make sure you give this video a like, and if you aren't subscribed, subscribe, and follow us on all of our social media networks. Thank you.